Heyo!
Heyo!
So, you might notice I put some glasses on.
Yeah, I did see that. That's really depraved.
And I got my hair looking different because I did the Coliseum.
Yes.
And I was able to get up to the S rank.
You were doing the same one that we did that first time?
Yeah, that first one on the flooded coast.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, I did the S rank enemies, so that's like the level 80 stuff. Mm-hmm. And I got a bunch of new hair colors, including light purple and such.
It gets pretty demanding at the end.
Yeah. And you know, the fact that we got to control 2B for A2 for a second, means you get to walk away from that park and actually continue being A2.
I think we both had the exact same thought over the weekend, which was like, this is still available. Yeah.
So what's up, Anemone?
Yeah, feel free. Or you can ignore it. We can just continue to ignore it.
Like, what a blessing.
I know, it's true. In that, like, 2 second control moment. For A2. Yeah.
You've changed, number 2. The way you walk and act. The way you talk and act is completely different from how you were in the past. You've become a true leader. Nothing compared to Rose. Yay!
Here it is.
Actually, I have the records stored on that external drive. Thought I should preserve memories of the time we fought together. But I also think you have the right to see them. You and I must never forget. I know. You look so different from possibly being Yorha, but...
Anemone?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know, she's full-on resistance now.
Yorha Pearl Harbor Descent Personnel Record Part 1.
I hope you got, like, 30 minutes to spare.
Controllers going down. Yay. Questions, answers. My name is Anemone. I have to actually press the buttons.
Yeah, I was going to say.
And I lead the android resistance. This is a record of the battles I've experienced and my losses. I leave it here as a warning to myself. The machine life form attack lands far too close for comfort. I smell an acrid odor and know that some of my hair has been singed off. Anemone, retreat for now. That's an order. That's my captain, Rose. I obey her without hesitation, running from the front as soon as I take out a few nearby enemies. Fleet flying behind me, I leap into the hastily built trench where my resistance comrades are gathered. How many battles is this now? The same sights and sounds, the same struggle of attrition. My resistance forces play the same war on repeat with no end in sight. I don't even remember why we're fighting anymore, but I must continue regardless. I must continue until one side or the other is dead. This looks bad, Shion. What should we do? Calm down, Lily. We'll find an opening somewhere. You don't search for an opening, you make one. Dahlia, wait. Oh, everyone's a flower?
Everyone's a thing. Yeah, flower.
I grabbed Dahlia's arm before she can flee the trench and turn to Rose. She brought us here, after all. She must have a plan of some kind. But as the enemy horde closes in, Rose simply squints off in the distance. There's been a change in enemy movements, she says finally. Someone just started fighting over there. But that's not possible, stammers Margaret. We're all here. Margaret's right. There are 9 of us left capable of fighting the machines, Captain Rose, Gerbera, Lily, Sonia, Erica, Margaret, Shion, Dahlia, and me, Anemone. We're all that's left of the 8th Descent forces. The one that took place roughly 200 years ago. An uneasy Sonia pulls Shion close and chews on a loose strand of hair. I don't like it, she says. What if it's some kind of machine trap? I wait for a while, heart pounding, until I hear the enemy fire lessen. Okay, I say. This looks like our chance. Let's pull back. Someone's fighting out there, Anemone, cries Dahlia. We can't abandon them. Alright, sorry about that. Little audio blip there. The TV was playing sound.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
So that should be fixed now. Alright, what if it's some kind of machine trap? I wait for a while, heart pounding, until I hear the enemy fire lessen. Okay, it sounds like our chance. Let's pull back. Someone's fighting out there, Anemone, cries Dahlia. We can't abandon them. Oh, so you want to risk all our lives for some stranger? Come on. We don't even know if this mystery fighter is on our side or not. It's not what I said. Enough, you two, barked Shion. The captain makes the final decision on this. After Shion speaks, all of us turn to Captain Rose. She looks us in the eyes and nods slowly before starting to speak. Gerbera? The enemy is heading towards the explosives we set up earlier, yes? Gerbera thinks for a moment. Now that you mention it, yeah, they are. A slight smile crosses Rose's face, yet she still seems perfectly composed. Good, then if this goes well, we might be able to take them all out. I want you all to leave this trench and get to those explosives, says Rose. We'll at least let the blast take out most of them, then clean up the stragglers. Identifying our unknown mystery fighters can wait until we're done. No one objects to the captain's decision. The moment she issues the order, we all leapt from the trench as one and re-enter the fray. When we reach the battle, we find what appears to be another set of androids dressed in strange black outfits. Before they even know what's happening, we detonate the explosives, killing the remaining machines, and turn our guns in their direction. All right, I say to the strangers, start talking. Easy, says one of the mystery androids. We're on your side. We're the new models rolled out as part of something called Project Yorha. Really? We haven't heard anything about new models. I probably speak with more bluster than necessary, but I have to make sure that they're actually on our side. I don't think they're lying necessarily, but I can't read their expressions thanks to the giant goggles they wear. And frankly, a little caution never goes amiss in the middle of a war. We learned that the 4 androids refer to each other as number 2, number 4, number 16, and number 21. They also aren't in a hurry to share much more. Our mission is top secret, one of them says. That's why you haven't heard about us yet. I slowly draw my knife in an attempt to gauge their reaction. So in other words, no one will know any better if I kill you right now? Stand down, Anemone, Rose says softly. No, cries Lily, she's right. We've seen how quickly the enemy is evolving. Who's to say these 4 aren't machines that just look human? My companions nod in agreement. This damn war has made us all suspicious. One of the strangers, number 16 I believe, draws a long knife from its sheath. If it's a fight you want, I'm happy to give it to you. Before I can respond, Dahlia leaps in front of me with her weapon at the ready. This is it. We're gonna fight. Just before the battle can erupt, the android called number 2 steps forward. Wait, she says. There used to be 16 of us, says number 2, but the others died during the descent. We were isolated and alone out here. Reinforcements aren't coming, and that means we have to finish this mission with the soldiers we have left. We don't need more enemies right now. What we need is allies. She finishes this speech with a soft sigh, as if trying and failing to hold her emotions in check. I know that sort of voice. It's the voice of someone who still has hope, despite all the odds.
You did it.
And
That's like one of 40 chapters. Here, I'll take the next one.
Really?
No, not 40, not 40.
These are going to keep going.
There's a couple, so I'll take the next one.
Okay.
These go on.
All right. So then what it sounds like, what I've learned there is that the resistance existed before Yorha.
A long time ago, yeah.
And Yorha just showed up and went, hey, we're on your side. And the resistance is like, okay.
Sure seems to be that way. There is a lot more.
Which is dubious as fuck, given the information we now have.
Yeah. So, if I remember correctly, you might remember that before NieR Automata, there was this stage play that Yoko Taro
did
was connected called Yorha.
Yeah.
This, if I remember right, is adapted from that. It's not exact word for word, but it's the same story.
Okay.
And yeah, the stage play was called Yorha before NieR Automata was announced or anything.
So if you got to see that, you got to get the backstory.
There's a Blu-ray.
Oh, of the play?
Yeah. Actually...
Anyone subtitled it?
I don't know if anyone subtitled it. I've actually never watched it myself, but I read a rundown before. I actually think the Blu-ray is only for the 1.2 version of the play, because they did it a few times and he made tweaks.
Oh my god,
So-
what is wrong with Taro?
You know what? I think that's a really good way to like previs your story, though. I think that's really cool.
But I just don't like the Kingdom Hearts problem of fans that like your story are kind of like you have to work to figure out what's happening across multiple mediums.
I think in NieR Automata, like this thing and the Yorha story is not necessary for
Yeah.
like the main story. You know what I mean? It's really just A2's background.
Yeah, I feel like when a game comes out like this, like it's not that other stuff shouldn't exist. Of course not. But it's more like, why not include that on the game, right? Like in the same way that some art books will pop in a little bit of details here and there, in the same way that you know what I mean? Just include some extras.
I feel
to fill out that story so that you can get those extra bits if you want.
In
on
this
the disc.
case, they have.
But
admittedly,
on
in
a
90% of other cases, they haven't. But yeah.
Okay, so you can find out the A2 and Anemone backstory through the stage play.
Yes.
That's where that
Yeah.
is. Got it. Got it.
Drakengard 3 Special Edition came with a novella that had like the short stories for all the characters.
Yeah, and one for each, pretty much, right? Like
yeah. But otherwise, like in English, there haven't really been official releases of this stuff. Like the NieR strategy guide. In English, it's like a Brady Games guide, and you get what you get. But the Japanese one has a bunch of short stories and like concept art and stuff like that. So
and it's easy for like us to be like it's not that important, or just it adds a little bit of gravy here and there. But there's some people that care a lot,
Yes,
and
absolutely.
really want to know everything, and it becomes a lot harder.
yeah,
you know?
I definitely think like it's a product of NieR not being NieR and Drakengard not exactly blowing up in popularity until just now. And
Right.
lo and behold, for Automata, everything is getting localized. Like the book just came out today. Way to date
Right.
this video.
And the fact that the Tarotverse is connected in all these ways and like not fully translated, despite the fact that it's all connected, like it requires digging on your part, and I guess they could make it a little easier. But who knows?
Yeah,
Maybe we'll
definitely.
get some sort of
I mean, I think
special box.
I think unless the games start cratering again, like they're probably gonna release all the materials as they come for newer product as well. Granted, we never did get the Yorha stage play in English, I think. Like the actual video.
The actual video.
But again, I think this is just adapted from that, and this is like an even more updated script, so this would be the more accurate thing to the story anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a really cool way to like previs your stories, like don't just write it down. Like I'm gonna get people to act this out, and I'm gonna see if it's good.
On stage.
That's fun. Tetsuya Nomura gets the expensive CGs done.
I mean, a lot of games opt to make a video game. To make a comic book. Rather.
Yeah.
And they do things like that. Yeah.
It's neat. All right. Okay, I'm gonna go into the
see
second
part two.
one. According to the Yorha team, there's an enemy server beneath Mount Kaala. If we can take it out, we might finally gain some ground in this endless war. But in order for that to happen, we need to work together. After a bit of thought, Rose decides to throw in with the new models. It's a relationship that changes as time goes on. What are you doing, Dahlia? Just showing this idiot how weak she is, replies a winded Dahlia. Ha! Wheezes her opponent, number 16. You're obviously outmatched. That's an odd ellipses. The two of them are taking turns hitting each other. It seems friendly enough, as those things go. Plus, they'd been doing it for so long now that both of them are out of energy. They likely couldn't punch through a piece of paper at this point. The rest of the group stares at the combatants and tries not to grin. Dahlia and number 16 seem to butt heads over the smallest little things. Maybe it's because they're so much alike. It's almost annoying how quickly muscleheads learn to like one another. The rest of us converse as Dahlia and 16 continue to spar. We call each other by names that I gave us, explains Rose. I see, responds number 4. I thought it strange that you didn't use code numbers. She nods while she speaks, as though this all makes perfect sense. Suddenly, Captain Rose breaks out into a wide grin. You know what? She says. I think we should give all of you names as well. No, says number 2. It would be a waste. Rose eyes her warily. A waste? You can name me when the mission is over, she replies as a blush rises in her cheeks. I could tell her words also served as a wish for success. All right, responds Rose. I'll think of a name for you by then. She knows this is a fleeting promise, as most such things are, but it doesn't matter. Already I can see us growing closer to the Yorha team. Well, my friends are growing closer to them, at least. You're all being careless, I state, much louder than I intend. Luckily, the others either don't hear or decide to ignore it. Don't get me wrong, I'm not about to go against the captain's judgment, but that doesn't mean I'm ready to just lie down and trust our new friends. Ours is a solitary existence that has long since been abandoned by the moon. No matter how they cried, mourned, or struggled, the voices of our departed comrades went unanswered. So how can you trust an entire squad of new models that you just met? What's wrong, Anemone? I hear Lily calling to me. She's likely concerned about me being apart from the rest of the group. Nothing, I begin. I'm fine. Before I can complete my thought, Lily suddenly opens her mouth and emits a terrible scream. I'm not going to scream. Ah! How does Jesus say it again?
Look at that audio spike.
Right? Lily's scream echoes throughout the entire camp. It's heartbreaking. It's agony. It's horrible. She's infected, screams Rose. Lily's infected. We all draw weapons out of instinct as much as anything else, pointing them at our comrade as she continues to scream and scream and scream. We all know what's happening. We've seen it before. It's a logic virus, a machine weapon that hijacks android systems and overwrites their data. And since there's no known cure, it's also a death sentence. I need to show her mercy. I need to set her free. My finger rests on the trigger, yet I hesitate. And before I can make that final, fateful decision, I hear a voice rise up from somewhere behind me. Stop! You can't do this. You can't just let your friend die. It's number 21, the girl I'd thought to be cool and composed beyond all measure, was now pleading with me to spare Lily's life. What do I do? What the hell do I do? Lily said you were like a family to her. You can't abandon family, not before you exhaust every possibility. What can you do then? I'll use my power to erase the virus. That's impossible. Rose spat out what we were all thinking. But before we can act, Lily starts to send nearby comrades flying with impossible strength. I've seen infected androids before. I know how much damage they can do once the virus turns off their limiters. They'll fight and fight until they're utterly destroyed. Dahlia and number 16 rush into the fray, trying to suppress their former friend, but she swats them away like flies. How many of us have been infected now? How many friends have I been forced to put down? The heart I'm not supposed to have aches with the thought. It aches as I remember all of the identification numbers that have been retired. When did I start giving them names? When did I decide I simply couldn't endure it any longer? Initiating reprogramming sequence. That voice, number 21? She's screaming something about reprogramming? I don't know what to do. I am lost. As my vision slowly clears, I see number 21 inputting commands into her terminal while number 2 and number 4 hold her down. They hold her as she rides, and Rose stares at me with surprise. Oh no. I'm holding Lily too. What a twist. Here, I'm passing it back to you. Yeah, this is all stuff too.
Yeah. I'm imagining how this is playing out on stage, effectively.
Yeah.
I gotta say that I am...
They're playing 2 tracks right now.
Yeah, they're playing the track from the thing, and also the... Yeah.
That's not a good mix.
That's a bug.
Yeah.
Sinister, but also resistance-based piece. No, I was just gonna say, like, whenever, like, the longer form we read, like, this prose in this way, the more I kind of realize I'm a bit spoiled by Lost Odyssey.
Yeah.
Because the quality is so above and beyond
Lost Odyssey's crazy.
any other short stories that you're reading in a video game that, like, this is fine.
This is fine, yeah.
But just the voice and tonality and, like, feeling put
Lost
into
Odyssey's powerful.
those short stories are unbelievable.
Yeah, 1,000 Years of Memory, is that what it's called?
1,000 Years of Memory.
It's fucking strong.
And like writing that isn't as strong, you kind of go like, I wish it was that strong. But
never play Kingdom Hearts.
but there's no long reading sections of Kingdom Hearts.
There's long watching sections of Kingdom Hearts if you want to abridge stuff like Recoded and 358.
Because the way they're talking here, for example, is exactly what the game sounds like when you're watching these cutscenes play out.
Yeah, it's accurate.
But
it's
like
on tone.
But reading it on page, quote unquote, so to speak, gives you a feeling, you know?
There's some reading bits in Kingdom Hearts when you get like reports written by various people, and some of them are like mouthfuls beyond mouthfuls, where you just have to read over them a second time, and you're like, wait, I'm taking nothing out of this.
Oh boy. 14th Machine War, Pearl Harbor Descent. The name of the mission entrusted to the Yorha soldiers. Was there ever such furious gunfire, such bombings that continued without pause? Our target is the machine server under Mount Kala, and our situation is dire. We need reinforcement. Requesting deployment at once. Number 2 speaks quickly, yet calmly, which is all the more remarkable considering the hostile army closing in on our position. But the command center is orbiting the orbiting satellite informs us no reinforcements will be forthcoming. We're abandoned. We're alone. It's so easy to do from up there, from the satellite, from the moon. I'll do whatever is necessary, says Lily with a grim smile. Dahlia and Margaret quickly nod in agreement, as does number 16. They decide to join this rear guard, staying behind to be our shield, even though it comes at the cost of their own lives. Regardless, they all agreed without hesitation. For we, the vanguard, would be joining them in death soon enough. Without another word, we turn our backs on each other and take up positions. We know this is the end. Dahlia and the others will buy us time to reach the gate at Kala Peak. Beyond that lies an elevator, and beyond that is the server. If we can destroy it, we'll deal a devastating blow to the machine life forms throughout the Pacific region. But as I notice number 21 scowling at the elevator, I start to have a bad feeling about the final stage of our mission. Go on, she says. I've got this. We crowd in the elevator as she begins hacking the terminal. She doesn't need to tell us what's happening. It's clear that the elevator won't descend all the way to the server unless someone stays behind to control it. Enemies incoming. They're almost on us. As I speak, I suddenly find myself leaping from the elevator and taking up a position at number 21's side, almost as if my body is out of my control. Something is wrong. Something. I'll back up number 21, I cry. The rest of you take out that server. As the doors close on my friends, the last thing I see is the face of my captain, Rose. She looks concerned, but the doors shut and she is no more. That was the last time I ever saw them. But it's all right. I'm going to finish this, one way or the other. The only sounds we hear are distant explosions and the rasp of number 21's breathing. Thank you, she whispers, for staying with me. I look at her eyes, and I see the telltale red of a logic virus infection. I was right after all. I sigh softly as I draw my weapon. I've seen comrades infected before. That's why I couldn't leave her to die alone. The vaccine she gave Lily is already ineffective. The enemy has evolved. They studied number 21's patterns and developed a new resistance. No one can save her now. When the elevator reaches the server, begins number 21 weakly, then I'll give you peace, I reply. The elevator moves even lower, creating a countdown to number 21's life. On. How much time has passed? How much can possibly be left? Too long to wait, yet not long enough for regret. A massive explosion echoes in the distance as the hall slowly shakes. It's the final act of Lily and the others in the rear guard. They just overloaded their own fusion reactors. The sound of our comrades' demise slowly fades from our ears. As does number 21. Number 21 reaches up slowly and removes her goggles. I'm glad I got to meet you, she says. Her eyes are so red, but not completely. There's still a little of herself left. And while it is... Don't worry, I say. I'll be with you soon. She smiles as my word reaches her ears. As soon as the elevator touches down, I fire a bullet into number 21's brain. I watch the thing that used to be her tumble to the ground. I stare at the gun I hold in trembling hands. I press it to my temple. This will end it all. The war. My meaningless existence. All of it. It will finally be over. Unforgivable. Unforgivable.
Yurusanai. They're doing it. They're doing the Japanese writing thing.
They're doing it.
They're doing it.
And you know what? Every time I read the same word again, it has more meaning, Liam.
More meaning? It's louder? I know, right? And then they get quieter, and then they get way louder again.
And then they stretch out a couple letters.
Yeah.
Your comrades sacrifice themselves and fight to the last breath. They feel suffering. They feel sadness. They feel pain and terror. And yet you would surrender now? Unforgivable. The voice is a battlefield curse, telling those who survive to see their mission through no matter what. It's another me, crying out. I scream at the top of my lungs and race down the hall.
Every time they scream.
I mean, you could go, it's Kira and Jesus.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You could do that. If you're going to push me, I'll show you. You'll only be satisfied if it ends with more killing. I leap into the fray with both weapons in hands. Well, that. Here I am. Here I am. Kill me! As I scream, an explosion suddenly rises up and sweeps everything away. A soft wind touches my cheek. I smell fire. I smell ash. The explosion in the server room was powerful enough to take out Mount Kala itself, reducing the once proud summit to a smoking crater. The machines immediately drop to the ground and stop moving. I look out over scorched earth. Lily? 16? Rose? 2? Are any of you... I'm the only one left. The only one. I was alive because I'd been afraid to die. I begin to giggle. It's a mad thing. Crazed. Even to my own ears. I'll join you soon. You promised to join her soon. How I could have said such vain, laughable words. Such lies. I laugh. I stand in the smoke and the flame and laugh until I think my very throat will tear itself in two. I blink. Daylight drifts through the smoke. I begin standing here all night. My laughter finally depleted, I force myself onto my feet. I'm the coward who stayed behind, the coward who lived. Now it's my job to carry out the will of those who fought at my side. Since I can't kill myself, I have to fight until someone does it for me. I'll endure every hardship, I'll kill every machine I find. That's my cross to bear. I walk slowly to the west, dragging my broken body along. I'll be joining you as soon as I finish some things up. So that's it.
Yep. And you've got the little data files on each one if you are
Is that extra
interested.
or is that like recap?
It's extra about the characters, but I don't remember the deets. Yeah, it's there, that one. Pearl Harbor Descent Records.
Okay.
Yeah. See, this is just a bunch of character info. I mean...
That's a lot.
It's just about these characters, and it's kind of a summary, if I remember right, more than anything else, so... Maybe the saved machine records are worth reading at the bottom. Okay. Or at least look at Attacker 2, I guess.
Okay.
Which, if you'd notice, A2, Attacker,
of course.
Attacker 2.
Yeah, give me a second.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. They're all pretty strong and smart. Yeah, the last paragraph there is a bit more important than anything in the 16 document. The idea that, like, they're picking and choosing the good performance bits to move forward to future YoRHa groups.
Yes. Yeah. They're QAing it.
That sort of eugenics control process.
Although, I mean, their demise isn't intended, but it's like...
As well.
Well, yeah, but it's like we're using the information. All right. Experimental Unit 21. Yeah.
Yeah.
Attacker 4.
So no cheery dispositions for combat units.
Yeah.
But you did have an operator who had a cheery disposition, so. 21 also shared a commonality with Operator 21, like 210.
Yeah.
Something, unfortunately, was one of the quests I did want to hit, but...
the flowers?
Operator 210. No, the more serious one, 9S's operator.
Oh.
She has an obsession with family and the idea of family.
Okay.
So, you may remember at one point she, like, addressed 9S oddly in, like, sort of a familial way, and he was like, what's up with that? That's weird. Anyway, it's fine. But at some point, Scanner 21, during the play, said, you can't do it. They're like family to you, you know? So that was a portion of their personality kind of stayed. The role got switched, became an operator, but, you know...
The number stayed the same.
You can see the common bits
Threads
between
there.
them. Sort of like how A2 is so much like 2B personality-wise, you know?
Right. Interesting. Okay, so like, yeah, these are post-mortem logs.
Yeah.
From the point of view of whatever is above commander level.
Yeah.
More or less looking at Yorha as a series of experiments.
Pretty much. This is like our work. This is their work, you know, and they're working towards making more work.
Which is exactly what every little pocket community of machines has been doing
over the
course of the game.
I don't know if you caught that last bit in A2's bit, but you remember the E's from that side quest we did?
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So she's been hunted by the groups.
The other group, exactly.
So, which is neat.
And the Type E's were the ones that basically were like often spread about, weren't they?
They're like,
they
have a target and they take care
mission?
of the target. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Rose.
This is why I wanted you to remember the E thing, because this comes out here where you're like, oh shit, it's relevant.
It's Android.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot here in this one. Okay. This one's really history on Rose.
Yeah, so what we saw happening at the beginning of C is actually old shit just coming back up.
Yeah.
But they've been able to keep it at bay for a while, and then they suddenly weren't.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be, I'm gonna guess, based on Nines being in there, and well, who knows? But
who knows? Yeah. But yeah, definitely.
I'm like
some of that. Some
Nines
of the past
being in there
back.
feels like he learned them and they learned him. But also, we got some fucking ghost chicks floating around.
Yeah.
So who knows what?
I know, right?
All right.
Yeah, this is really the event itself. This is more of a summary.
The way it plays out, I could definitely see there being like a set with a bunch of these androids running around shouting at each other, but you don't actually need to show any enemies or anything outside of the set they're in. Like, you need a place where the first encounter happens, you need a base for that little spar, and then you need that elevator moment.
Which is nothing.
And that's an easy thing to...
I mean, and there was probably nothing on the stage.
Zero props.
Like,
Yeah.
It's very minimal.
Like, no actual detailed enemies or anything like that.
Yeah, there's no need. Well, they didn't even show any enemies, right?
Yeah.
It was just like, they're coming.
It reads like a play.
It does. It really does, yeah. It's easy to imagine it in that way, like you were expressing before.
If A2...
You can scroll down here, there's still some more stuff.
Is the result of... if A2 is a designation after Attacker 2, like, I'm wondering if, like, the lettering system actually always has a secondary meaning or not.
Yeah, so
Ninth Scout?
Scanner.
Scanner, excuse me.
Scanner, Attacker, Battler.
Operator.
Executioner, Operator, Gunner.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, they all have
Letters for the
designations.
reasons.
So the letter is their class, effectively, and their number is like their personality. You know, the traits that were kept.
Yeah, that's what's...
Just mix and match them until you find the good
That's what's
ones.
starting to make sense.
Yeah.
And you see,
Operator 4-0, that's a good mix.
see what's going on there.
Yeah.
QA it.
Yeah.
NieR models. Verified. Man, so, like, wait, so the type E's were, I guess E would stand for, like... Executioner?
Yeah.
That's, okay. So, yeah, I'm gonna fucking, like, they're throwing some hard, like, possibilities right now about, like, Yorha being some bullshit, but also... Like,
You don't already think Yorha's some bullshit?
I mean, it's always some bullshit. Guess what?
Yeah,
the organization you work for in the video game
It's
is
super
some bullshit.
yeah.
But, like, this is some machine bullshit.
Yeah. What's worse, working for Sele or Yorha? Like, what's the better pick? This is a different category now we're in. So.
This is the tower system that popped up out of the sky.
I believe we picked these up in the meat box.
But didn't actually read them.
I think we did read this one because I remember you reading the allowed diversity learning error rate is 7.21, and we expressed that it was kind of gibberish,
Okay.
or something like that.
Infant Machines Memories.
Yeah, this is like side quest stuff that you may have gotten. So,
Old World Information.
yeah, these are old flyers and stuff.
Mysterious Lithograph 2. Parents shall not purchase birthday feast ingredients. The Weemass people have traditionally shown proclivities towards treasuring children. However, due to parents purchasing far too many ingredients for birthday parties for their children, much of it has gone to waste. This rule was passed by the king, who was quite distressed at the ceaselessness of such behavior.
I kind of like how they have facade rules as some.